guys, me again, Leanne the Kiwi Yogi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to join me, then hopefully this little practice today is just a little bit of an insight into how I like to practice for myself. We want to be a little stronger. Alright, so if you wake up in the morning and you're a little bit like me and you feel like you're a little bit stiff, this is a nice little way to wake up. So first of all, when you're waking up in the morning, it's just really hugging the knees in towards the chest and releasing the sacrum. You had a lot of pressure with the legs extended, so create a little bit of space by stretching and releasing through the lower back. Now, if you're getting out of the bed to do this, so tabletop position is hands beneath the shoulders and knees beneath the hips, and just really start to press through the hands, engage the core and lengthen the spine nice and long. So this core activation here is just firing everything up to get ready. Okay, and then from here, a little movement, just slow and gentle through Balasana, cat and cow. So just drawing the chest forward and the heart open. And as you exhale, rounding the spine, let the head hang down and the tailbone tuck under. So float forward with the chest, exhale, rounding out with the spine. Float forward with the chest, exhale, rounding out. So ideally we want to do about 5 rounds of this, moving in your own time, however it looks for you. Just really slow the breath down here. Noticing how you're articulating through each part of this movement and releasing the lower back. And then from here, take your big toes to touch and then start to sink the weight of the bottom back towards the heels into a child's pose. So you can keep the knees together or take them a little wider if you want. Take the belly in between the thighs and lengthen the arms long, forehead resting down. So ideally I like to take about 5 to 10 breaths here, just resting down, releasing and opening up. For the purpose of this clip, I'm just going to keep moving. You can choose to pause if you want to stay there a little longer. All right, so let's take the hands a little wider, draw the knees in underneath the hips, and then from here, you're going to step the right foot forward to the front of your mat. So take it to the inside of your right hand, all right? And then slide your left knee back a little bit further. So we're coming into that low lunge, sinking down through the hips. Relax your shoulders away from the ears, taking them back toward the hips. Now, option here is you can keep the top of the foot down to the floor, or you can tuck the toes. So a little bit more active with the toes tucked, having to work here, and either staying nice and low, or you can rest the hands down onto the top of the thigh. So resting the hips down, heart shining forward, open through the front of the chest. So you feel it through the front of your left hip flexor here, and opening and broadening through the collarbone. Squeeze your shoulder blades back and in towards each other. Drawing the belly in. And as you exhale now, you're going to release your fingers to the floor if they'll make it. Fingers in line with the heel, okay? So a little further back, and then shift your hips back, straighten through the right leg, and lift the toes up towards the sky. Now I draw my hands back and underneath my shoulders. Fingers keep pointing forward. As we exhale, we fold over the right shin. So try to keep the hips stacked atop of that back knee. Again, tucking the toes for a little bit more active or balance here. Surrendering over, the head hang fully down. And slowly rising on up, walking the hands forward, bend through the front knees, so back down through the hips. Now you can take this option here of flowing through this a few times, taking your time with each breath, okay? So nice and slow, so monitoring your own breath, shifting the hips back, folding over, and holding there for a period of time that best suits you. Ideally, the longer that you can hold something like this, the more depth you're going to get into it. Okay, so breathe deep. This is the key here. Breathing, softening over, nose towards the knee. And slowly lifting up, bending through the front knee, sitting down through the hip. Remember, you can take the option of the hand to the top of the thigh, and even the option here of sweeping the fingers forward and up and rising on up. Now you've got length through the sides of the waist here, and the palms can press, sinking down through the hips. Exhale, release. Take the hands either side of the front foot, and then from here, shifting the weight back, folding over. So how that looks is me in the morning just floating forward and walking it back. And sometimes there's no always the same kind of flow on each side. Sometimes I'll hold here a little bit longer, I'll feel some sort of sensation and I'll keep it a little longer. Or maybe even up here, it doesn't have to always be even. It's really about exploring your breath. Awesome, so from here we're going to step that right foot back now to meet the left and just come back to child pose to reset. Okay, resting here, maybe 2 to 3 breaths. And lengthening the arms long. And then when you're ready, just rising back up into a tabletop position and stepping the left foot forward. So exactly what we did on the other side, shuffling that right knee back a little bit deeper and having the fingers align of the front heel and relaxing the shoulders, pressing them back toward the hips, broaden through the collarbones, sinking down. So now you're feeling it open through the front of your right hip flexor. Again, option to tuck the toes, getting a little bit more activity here. And then flowing through that movement of shifting the hips back, straightening through left leg, flexing left toes, and folding over. Move with your timing, your breath, whatever is organic to you. So you might want to stay there a little longer. You might want to fold over a little longer. Ideally, you don't want to stay in the position that's comfortable for the longest period of time. So for me, my hamstrings are a little tighter. It's more uncomfortable for me to stay like this than it is like this. Why? Because we always do what's comfortable for us. Let's take that a few more times, folding over the left shin, breathing into the hips, keep drawing the front of the right hip forward and the left hip or the leg back into the socket, and coming back. Remember your option if you are sitting down, fingers to the floor, if it's better for you, coming up onto that thigh, resting the hips down. Same as you did before, if you sweep the fingers forward and up, taking that mudra, palms to press, drawing the belly in and feeling the opening through the front of your hip flexor. Sides of waist along, heart leads forward. And slowly releasing. And then from here I start to work into a bit more of a split. So I actually creep my left foot forward and I can get down a little deeper. So this is completely optional. Taking the space, I can rest my hands at the top of the thigh and I feel that opening up through the front of that quad and hip flexor a little more. Option to have blocks either side of you if you need the balance, or hands rest on the thigh, drawing the belly in. Nice, and then option here is staying here. If you want to go a little further, then you can release the fingers to the floor and then just work through a little movement here of tucking the back toes, squeezing that back thigh on and straightening through the back leg. Okay, so just breathing there, slowly releasing on your exhale and inhale, lifting. So this is work for me. This is not easy. And I'm going to slowly work my way into the splits. I can't do the splits now, but with time and practice, it will come. Let's take a few more rounds here. Slowly lowering down. And then it's ultimately just taking it to your depth, okay? So if you want to stay here, this is where you're feeling all of your sensations, then stay here. Otherwise, if you want to start to work into your splits, then shift the hips back, straighten through that front leg, and then start to shuffle the left foot forward and the right leg back, okay? So starting to straighten out both legs. Nice, breathing there. Option here, if you have a block nearby, you can pop it in underneath the left buttocks. And keep straightening through that left leg. Keep shuffling that right knee back. Hands either side of the shin, either side of the thigh. And wherever you're feeling it, you want to sink into that space. Breathing there. Even try to gently contract that left thigh a little more to open up the inner groin. But also feel the weight of the hips sinking down. We don't want to push into it. You don't want to overstrain and over push. We really just want to take our time here. Take the breath. Use it as your guide. And then as long as you can stay in this pose and get into the stretch a little bit deeper for flexibility, then stay there. Otherwise, you're going to just slowly come out of it. So you're just taking the hands to the floor, draw the left knee in, taking the mat with you if you did so, and then making your way back into a child's pose. So super slow, sitting back onto the heels. Arms alongside the body, rest the forehead down. And then we'll just move our way on to the next side. So simply just taking the hands to the floor into your tabletop position, tucking the toes, and then stepping the right foot forward this time. So we're coming on to the other side. So I've just changed positions so that you can see a little bit more depth on what I'm doing. So this one again is sliding that left knee back, sitting down, holding that, trying to square the hips off, drawing the front of the left hip forward and the right hip back. So squaring those hips off. So you don't want to twist the torso over towards one side. You want to have it square facing toward the front of your mat. Breathing there. And then just having that play. And then walking the toes forward, breathing, sinking slowly. Hands beneath the shoulders. Palms to the floor if you can. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Keep pressing through the fingers and the knuckles so that you're not just collapsing through the wrists. Keep squaring the hips off and either staying here, or you can start to tuck the back toes and lift the back knees, squeezing that thigh on, opening through the front of your left quad and hip flexor now. Nice, feeling the weight shift forward and back, sinking the hips down. Now have a little play, releasing the knee to the ground, and then engaging and lifting the thigh up. Releasing down, lifting up. Releasing down and coming back up. Nice job. All right, so you can stay here if you want, or stay down on the back knee if that's where you're at and you want to just get a little bit more depth and take your time into it. Otherwise, starting to walk that right foot forward. As wiggling it forward, my mat is pretty grippy, so it's not allowing me to just slide forward. So wiggle it forward, and then from here, just wiggling the left leg back. So as you did before, grabbing your block, popping it underneath the right hip flexor this time, or right buttocks, popping it underneath the right buttocks and sinking down. So you'll notice that one side may be a little different from the other, and it really takes time to come down. Especially for me, my hamstrings won't naturally allow this. It's something that I haven't really focused a lot of attention on, thinking that that was the limit of my flexibility. But as time has told me, it's slowly starting to open up. So just allow the breath to be your guide and sink the hips down. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And keep that activation through the front of your right quad and thigh on. It's breathing deep, sinking down. So don't worry if your left leg is not straight. It will take time. But allow the weight of gravity to sink forward and down. So just stay there for as long as you can maintain a breath and surrender down. Remembering the quality of the breath is the key here to surrendering and opening up. You don't want to create any pain, so just feeling the balance here of the hips coming forward and down, as well as that gentle stretch with time. Nice. And then from here, just slowly release, popping that block out from underneath you if you've got it, and then slowly drawing the right foot in. Woo! Feeling the back of that leg. Oh, really working its magic. And then from here, I'm just going to come down to the floor, super slow, because I'm really feeling probably what you guys are feeling right now. And from here, just going to round the spine, pressing out through the hands, and then taking a wide-legged child's pose. I'm just going to surrender all the way down. So I'm really feeling a lot of sensation through the hip flexors and the insertion of the hamstring into the top of my pelvic bowl, into the pelvic bowl. So just relaxing everything down here. Alright, let's keep working our way up through the torso. Okay, so keeping the spine nice and long, just going to lift up your head, walk your hands over toward the left, taking your right hand on top of the left, relax the body down. So you're going to breathe into the right side of the body here. Really going to move for space. And then slowly rising back on up into a tabletop position. Tuck your toes and draw the knees back into center. Roll over onto your bottom into a nice seated position. All right, so that's me working on my lower half of the body. We're going to take our left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the right hip. Now you can bring the floor up to you if you want and have a block underneath the hand, or just take the fingertips and cup them to the floor. Now from here, you're just gently twisting over toward the right, looking out over the right shoulder. Keep the spine nice and long. Keep pressing the right knee down into the floor. Use that left hand to really pull the torso over toward the right. Draw the belly in as you exhale. So it's a full breath in. So feel the length of the spine come up. And as you exhale, draw the belly in and twist and look out over your back shoulder. And slowly release the head back to center. Release the arms back to center. Let's take the other side. Right hand to left knee. Left hand to the floor. Just gently twisting over toward the left. Then press the left knee down into the floor. Holding on tightly with the right hand, gently start to twist through the spine and look out over your back shoulder. Keep pressing the shoulders towards the hips. Nice long spine. As you exhale, draw the belly in and twist a little deeper. So it's like a gentle ringing, a movement, a flow of movement, really rocking through the torso and using the strength in the arms to get a little deeper. Slowly turn your head back to center and release. Nice. So from here, take your arms wide and then take the hands in towards each other, crossing at the elbows. Take the right arm atop of the left, and then we're going to take a little bind here. Okay, so Garudasana arms, and then you're going to draw the elbows away and the fingertips toward the sky. Nice breathing there. Feel the space between the back of the shoulders open up and gaze forward. Now if you want to get a little deeper here and you feel like this is can be taken a little deeper, so to draw the elbows in towards the belly button and towards the navel and really round the upper back, let the head drop down. Keep drawing the elbows away from the body, keep drawing the space in towards the navel. One more breath. And slowly release. Unravel the arms. Let's take the other side. So take the right arm underneath the left this time. And finding your bind, drawing the elbows away from the face and the fingertips up towards the sky. Breathing into the back of the shoulders, space between the shoulder blades. Really, really breathe. Really breathe into that space. Lengthening long. full breath in, long exhale out. Again, if you did so on the other side, drawing the elbows in towards the navel, so keep reaching your fingertips away. Let the head hang down. Slowly rising on up with your next inhale and release the arms. Beautiful. Let's take the hands to the floor, shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale down the spine, opening through the heart. Reach the hands up and overhead, palms touch. As you exhale, draw the hands down through heart center, interlace the fingers, round the upper back, drop the head down, and lengthen through the arms, palms pressing forward. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Inhale, rising on up. Exhale, stretching over to one side. Breathing into the belly. Keep lifting the arms up and away from the front of your mat. Slowly come back to center. Exhale to the other side. Breathing all the way into the belly. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Slowly come up and release. Ooh, nice job, guys. Hopefully releasing. Let's get up into the neck, and then we've worked our way up through the body. And today we'll be able to start our day super fresh. So let's just start to roll the neck, or release the neck, by doing some head rolls. So these are pretty self-explanatory. Just allowing the head to roll in one direction. Really feeling into the space of your neck, going in a 360 movement. And going the opposite direction, changing direction. Coming back to center. Nice. Take your hands to your heart center, palms pressed together, elbows come wide. Take a moment here to close down your eyes. Feeling into the space of your entire body from crown of head all the way down to the tips of the toes. Just feeling into that space and having awareness of this movement through the body, and noticing when we hold the breath in the day that we hold and store that tension in the body. So just taking time to breathe out fully throughout our day and surrender out those emotions. Namaste.